We are going forward into the light. Welcome to the Pesach Perspective. The Pesach Perspective is in honor of our homeland, Eretz Yisrael. May Kadosh Baruch Hu, may God continue to protect our brave soldiers and return all the hostages home for the Seder with their families in the third temple immediately. The Pesach Perspective is in honor of the Refuah Shlema of Pnina, Bas, Shoshana Miriam, and all those who need to experience a speedy and complete recovery. The Pesach Perspective is also in loving memory of Edward ben Efraim, Shlomo ben Edward, and Yirachmiel Daniel ben Gedalia. May their souls be uplifted and may their memories be a blessing. We are about to celebrate Pesach, Zman Chirasenu, the holiday of our freedom. But this holiday is not just about a remembrance of the past. It is a call to re-examine what chirus, what freedom truly means. The cleaning, the matzah, the wine, the storytelling. These are not rituals of nostalgia. These are acts of reawakening. We strip away all the physical chametz. We remove the spiritual noise alike to prepare to reclaim something deeper. On the Seder night, we gather around the table and relive the story of our Yetzias Mitzrayim, of our exodus from Egypt. Not to preserve it, but to embody it. Because God who took us out of Egypt is not just a God of miracles, He is the God of meaning. He doesn't just take us out, He calls us forward. The Yetzias Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt, was more than just an escape from slavery. It was the beginning of a transformation. At first, God performed miracles to open the path to our freedom. But true freedom was never meant to be handed down like manna from heaven. It had to be chosen. It has to be built. And redemption began with the opening and the crossing of the Sea of Reeds. But it reached its purpose when the people stood at Har Sinai and Mount Sinai and accepted the mission and accepted the Torah, which is God's mission for the Jewish people and for the world at large. And that was the shift from external liberation to internal responsibility. God created the conditions, but it was up to us to become a people who would build a society grounded in the truth, in compassion, and in holiness. The Rambam, Rav Moshe ben Maimon, a great Torah scholar, philosopher, and commentary, asks a profound question in his Moreh Nevuchim, in his Guide to the Perplexed. He asks, if God can change nature, then why doesn't He change ours? Why does He not make us inherently good, righteous, moral, and connected to Him at all times? And his answer is deeply profound. God could have made us into angels, beings without struggle, without ego, without failure. But He didn't, because the gift He gives us after we leave Egypt was greater than perfection itself. He gave us choice. He gave us freedom. He gave us the freedom to fall and the freedom to rise beyond what we imagine possible. And this is the paradox of Pesach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God acts with the power to create space for us to act with purpose. He shows us miracles not to impress, but to inspire us to something higher. But after the miracles fade, it is we who must continue the story. We must become the ones who elevate, the ones who refine, the ones who sanctify this world, and not through miracles and wonders, but through our choices, but through our actions. A free people is not ones who live without limit. It is the ones that choose what to live for. Freedom is not the gift we were given once, it is the mission we must choose every single day. And that's why we must take a moment to celebrate. Not just what happened, but what is possible. We are celebrating the freedom to choose, the freedom to build, the freedom to serve, the freedom to grow, and the freedom to connect. And especially this year, as Pesach begins on a Motzei Shabbos on a Saturday night, we are given extra time to prepare, not just our homes, but our minds and our souls. We can reflect on the divine privilege of choosing God not through fear and not through force, but through love. The ultimate definition of what a geula, of what redemption means. The ability to choose what kind of life we want to live and what kind of light we want to bring into the world. And when we embrace that freedom internally, we begin to transform everything in the outside, everything on the external level. Since October 7th, 2023, the story of Pesach feels heartbreakingly close. With the hostages still in captivity and Jewish communities still under attack, the line in the Haggadah, that in every generation they rise to destroy us, has become painfully real. The suffering that our people, our brothers and sisters in Israel, have endured in the recent months echoes the same cries of the exodus from Egypt. But just as God heard the prayers of our forefathers, we believe that He hears us now. And the story we tell at the Seder is not one of despair. It is one of endurance. It is one of a nation that is never defined by its oppression, but by its response. The focus at the Seder table must be turning our history into living memory, making our past part of our present. And when we speak of Egypt, when we speak of Mitzrayim, we are not looking backwards. We are aligning ourselves with a story that is still unfolding. Each step of the Seder draws us deeper. The 4 cups that mark the stages of our redemption. The matzah that breaks in silence, and the maror that is bitter, and the questions that the children should ask, all become a map towards freedom. And we lean like royalty, not to pretend that we are free, but to claim it, to act as if the promise has already arrived. Because in Judaism, in Yiddishkeit, freedom isn't something that we remember, it is something that we enact every single day. We speak the words, we taste the story, we become the ones who carry it forward. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, teaches us that true freedom isn't merely a release from what holds us back, it is an empowerment to become who we are meant to be. The Yetzias Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt, wasn't the end of an exile, it was the beginning of purpose. God didn't free us so we could rest, He freed us so we can reveal His presence in our world. And that freedom means not only not doing what we want to do, but it is doing what we are here for. And the Seder may tell the story of 3,460 years ago, but it also commissions us for a mission. We are God's unanswered question to this world. We are proof that a nation can be both bruised and unbreakable, both humbled and holy. And when we describe our beginnings, we are not just remembering, we are reclaiming. We are preparing ourselves for the future. A future when we say, L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem, is not something that we say at the end, but something that we see at the beginning of everything that we do. And this is our moment. Not to remember the fire, but to become it. Not to repeat the past, but to complete what began. Not to retreat, but to rise and to take one more step. To light one more candle, to do one more mitzvah, and to bring one Jew to the Seder that wasn't there before. And we don't wait for redemption, says the Rebbe, we move towards it. The Rebbe believe with certainty that we are a generation that will finish the mission. And every act of light, every act of kindness and goodness, no matter how small, brings the world closer to the redemption, to its truest self. Closer to the world, what it was always meant to be. And when we live like that, walking through the darkness with a torch of purpose and light, we discover that redemption wasn't ever far. It was always near, waiting for us to arrive. There's a profound quote that I once read. True redemption is when we no longer ask, who am I to change the world, but how can I not? May we merit to celebrate this Pesach with our hostages returned, in Yerushalayim rebuilt, with the Korban Pesach being offered on the altar in the third Beis Hamikdash. Have a joyous and meaningful Pesach.